been here for a very long time maintaining this cemetery, and he's got so much knowledge. It's coming right out of his ears. He's just telling me about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I've been out here since 1984 and started just piddling around with weeding and such, and two women were the mainstay out here, Maria Osterloh, who has a bench dedicated to her, and Dorothy Peck, who has a nice plaque in the butterfly garden. And so I worked alongside with them, and as an independent as well. When I had time to come out, I would come out and weed or pick, water, whatever. Wasn't really watering until several years later. Then in 1998, there was an estate on Chicago Road on 4 acres called the Harwood House. Homer Harwood was Warren's first publisher. It was a beautiful 6-bedroom house, and it was going to be torn down. There's a credit union there, a big glass credit union on that site. So the society members said, Tom, if there's anything there that you think we could use or is usable, go check it out. The house was pretty much gutted. I did save some cherry wood and gave it away to people to use, for paneling and such. But I noticed the shrubbery around the front, the burning bushes. And during this film, you will see the burning bushes. There's 7 of them across the center, and they're all bright red right now. So I moved them out here. I had to cut them back, and then I went crazy because I saved over 70 different items over the next 5 or 6 years from demolition sites. Got in with my truck. I've got purple smoke, I've got concolor fir, I've got boxwood, I've got all sorts of nice plants here. And the 1 acre towards Ryan Road here was barren. And now, here it is 18 years later, these trees are sizable, and they've come to be what I thought they would be when I moved them here. I didn't pay for anything. Everything was all recycled. Trees, shrubs, all this. And I'm kind of proud of that because, it's different if you have deep pockets, but when you're on a dime and you just see what you could do, then it seems to be more fun. It's like, okay, I'm up to it, let's see what happens.
Okay, Tom, you're telling me what type of tree is that?
Yeah, well, this is actually a shrub. It's called a PG hydrangea.
Really?
And it's a tree form, and I would imagine it's at least 70, maybe 80 or older, because I've never seen one to this age that survives so well. It starts out beautiful lime green in the spring, and then the flowers are pure snow white. Snowball, the same as a snowball bush of viburnum, and or hydrangea, I should say. And then as it gets cooler at night, it turns into a rose color and a pink flush. And then later on, it'll turn brown and it'll stay on in the winter. I would not doubt that this is 80 years to 100 years old. I would not doubt it.
Tell me about that small thing.
This little blue, Norway spruce here growing in the middle of that stump, there was a Norway spruce planted there when the cemetery was open. Lightning hit it and it had to be cut down, and it was horribly damaged, but it was a beautiful centurion there. So I pulverized the stump and I put a Norway spruce right in the middle of it to mark the same spot. That little tree was about 1 inch tall and came up in the crack of the sidewalk.
So now how old is it now?
It's about 7 years old. At
Wow.
first it took a while for it to beef up, and now it's in full sun here, so now it could be in its glory days.
Now you were telling me, we talked on the phone, you were telling me just a little bit of the problems you had with people down in the Red River Run when you first got here.
Right. This was a party spot where they used to hang out and drink and get high and such.
Is that in the 80s?
That was starting in the 70s when the vandalism was the worst, and then it was in the late 70s that Harold Stillwell got involved, my former neighbor. He passed away in 1987, and they had the fence put across the back of the Red Run here, and that was the beginning of trying to block it. Now, when I got more involved here in the 80s, all of these old cedar trees, arborvitae, I raised them up. They used to branch the ground, and I thought it was ominous. So everyone, you could see through the whole cemetery. If the police come here at night, they can take their floodlight and scan this whole property. There's no hiding places. We don't want to wait till something happens to fix it. So an ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. So I spent many hours pruning these trees up, and I like the way they look. I like a tree branch to the ground naturally if it can be, but out here it seemed to be more logical to make it safe. someone's out here and a woman's got her purse or whatever, she can get lost in her moment and not worry, be so concerned someone could jump out. So yeah, it's pretty much cleared up, and let me knock on wood.
We're using Italian epoxy, and it's worked really good for us.
Cool. Now, Dave, you were telling me you've been doing this for a day or two.
Been doing it for a few years. Yep. Started, just from genealogy and history. I love history. It's a great job for the young man during the summer. Very rewarding. Doing the veterans, founding fathers. It's all important, all part of our history. So it's what we love.
Welcome everybody here today. We're laying the wreaths on the veterans markers, just in remembrance and to honor them.
Good morning. Welcome to our Memorial Weekend 2016.
Comrades, attention. On this day, forever consecrated to our heroic dead, we are assembled once again to express sincere reverence. This grave represents the resting places of many departed comrades who served in all wars. Wherever the body of a comrade lies, there the ground is hallowed. Our presence here is in solemn commemoration of all these men, an expression of tribute to their devotion, their courage, and their patriotism.
Okay, I'd certainly like to welcome everybody here. I'm amazed at all the faces I haven't seen in a long time, but then Dorothy was an amazing woman. I just want to briefly say that back when they were holding the homecomings, I think it was the second one, Ted and I decided to come over and see the Civil War enactment, and we wandered back to where the cabins were when they were there. And this lovely woman walked up to me and said, "Are you interested in history?" Well, I've been part of the Historical Society since then. And she also came up to me and said, "You know, we have this cemetery over there that's in pretty bad shape, especially the west end there, which apparently was abandoned." So we came over here, and the next thing you know, we have the Historical Society and friends and relatives and that coming over here and helping to bring this cemetery back. And thanks to the city council and the mayor of the city, we have funds now that we're restoring a lot of the headstones, and we're extremely happy about that. But sadly, Dorothy passed, and we all miss her, of course. But today we're going to honor Dorothy with this nice marker behind us, and Jean, her cousin, is going to help us unveil the marker. And then if she'd like to say a few words, she may, and after that, the mayor is going to have a few words to say. So, again, thank you for coming, and here's the marker.
You want to just pull the ribbon?
Very good.
You pull this.
Got it.
We really worked kind of hard. Our group worked kind of hard working out to get just the nicest details and everything. I think Dorothy would absolutely love the attention she's getting.
The Warren Historical Commission welcomes all of you hardy souls. We're thankful that it's not raining, but because we were worried about rain, we weren't able to put chairs out. So hopefully this will be brief enough and we can all go inside. The Historical Commission is gathered here to dedicate this building that has served the Fitzgerald community for over 75 years. Built in 1941, it was one of the first USOs constructed by the federal government for the military as well as the community. After the closing of the USO in 1944, this building became the Fitzgerald Recreation Building. Eleanor Bates mentioned that during and after World War II, social life in our area centered around the programs at the USO. Have to remember in the 1940s, there weren't a lot of cars. So people, with the community centers being so close, people were able to walk and come and enjoy the centers. Sue and I will now unveil the plaque. And you guys are going to have to leave.